I would venture to say that April of 2025 was the longest, most exciting, most productive, most everything month of my entire life. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to be doing a little reset for the month of May. So we are going to talk about our April finances and how we did with our budget. We're going to talk about some of my highs, my lows, my favorites, my lessons learned. We're going to talk about the goals that I did or did not complete for April, set some goals for May, yada, yada, yada. As always, I have already did a dedicated plan with me video. So if you want to see how I set up my planner for May, then check out that video. And I've already done a dedicated monthly budget video for May as well. So if you want to see or kind of hear about what our finances are projected to look like for the month of May, then check out that video. But for now, let's start with talking about our April finances. Let's start with our goals, tasks, to-dos that were financial in nature, of course. Wanted to save $2,000, which we did, invest 15% of our paychecks, which we did, pay our monthly credit card bill, which we did, purchase book club books. I put that on here each month because I'm in 2 book clubs and I never pick the books. So sometimes other book club members pick the books, well, always. Well, what I'm trying to say is sometimes the leader, I guess, of the clubs will pick the books, and then sometimes other book club members, but I never do. So sometimes I do need to go out and purchase a book. It's very rare, but it is possible. But for April, I did not have to purchase a book. So I checked it off, even though I didn't do it, but like I acquired the books, I just didn't spend money on them. I did not book a hair appointment. I'm just trying to book it. I'm not going to get my hair done just yet. I'm actually trying to ride this out until the end of the school year, which is this month in May. So I do need to book it though, so I can get on her books. But I don't know what I'm getting next. I did not book a laser hair removal appointment. I did not schedule the OBGYN. Surprise, surprise. I did turn in my mileage for work for April. I did various random acts of kindness for April. I did not submit my W-2s because the feds have not located them and sent them to me yet. So I'm still waiting on that. And then I do still need to do that. We paid for counseling. We paid off our June cruise. We're going on 2 cruises. One's a summer vacation with our cousins, which we have turned into an annual thing. We're then going on another cruise, which is a wedding cruise. But that one is not due until July, but we did put the deposit on that one. So we paid off a cruise. We put a deposit on a cruise in April. April was wild. I prepped for book club. Oh, I'm like, why is this on here? Because I was hosting and I think I needed to purchase like a couple things because we had book club here at my house in April. I wanted to schedule car repairs, which we did, pay our taxes. We actually didn't owe any, yay for us. Renew our library card, which we did, and we scheduled the car repair. I don't know if I said that we completed that or not. Renewed my library card so I could keep accessing free books. I wanted to cancel Everand, which is like a subscription to a book service, and then purchase a charcuterie ticket. I did not do that. I am not going to that charcuterie workshop. It was just a proposal, but the one friend who I was going to invite is not going to be in town, so not going to that. And then prep our pool. We haven't quite prepped the pool because we're supposed to start a backyard renovation. That's actually supposed to start next week. We haven't pulled the plug, but that's supposed to start next week. And then following that renovation, we would then prep our pool for the summer. We paid our gym bill at $62. We paid our car payment at $314.34. Actually, I'm just gonna put, if you're listening, we paid all of our bills. They're all on auto pay, so they got paid. If you're watching, I'm just gonna put a screenshot over here of all of our bills and what they ended up being in the month of April. The only thing that's worth notating is that my cell phone bill was a couple cents more and my husband's was as well. We pay our cell phone bills every 3 months because it's an option. We can also pay every month. I don't know if is every month an option with Mint Mobile? Every 6 months and then every year we could pay them. We just do every 3 months, but both of them were due in April. And I don't think any bills went up specifically. Now that I think about it, I don't even know if I need to pop up the bills, but I will so you can see which bills we pay each month. But yeah, we paid all of our bills. So let's talk about where our money came from and then where it went. We had 4 paydays, 2 from each of our jobs. We got 1 reimbursement and then 4 different types of refunds. So our monthly income in April was thousands of dollars more than what it typically is, which you'll see reflected in how much we spent. You'll see that reflected in our spending, because our spending, actually, I feel like our spending was like, so our regular everyday spending was normal, like it normally is, but we had extra car repairs and we had to pay off our crews. All of that was not normal by any means. I was about to crash out because I'm trying to turn the air on because it's hot as I don't know what down here. The air's not on and it wasn't working, but it's working now. So abort, crash out. Speaking of air not working, my husband and I joke that we are certified HVAC technicians. We're actually not, but we have learned so much about like HVACs and like different parts of a house, I guess, operations of a house since we've become homeowners. So speaking of air issues, we actually had one in April, but we worked it out ourselves. We were able to fix it ourselves. I love that for us. We keep fixing it ourselves, actually. But back to the spending. Let's see here. We had to pay our taxes fee for our tax preparer, our CPA, to prepare our taxes. That was $200. And then we had to pay for counseling. That's $155.25, by the way. To pay off 1 cruise, the one for June, that was $1,010. So we paid for that. Some kids came up to us while we were in the backyard asking if we wanted to donate to their football fundraiser. So we did that. That was $25. Got our lawn mowed once in April for $70. My Mint Mobile bill was actually $130.22. I had budgeted $130, but I was off 22 cents. My husband paid a deposit for his hair because he's getting his hair done in a couple of days. I went out of town and had to pay for or split a couple ride shares. It was pretty inexpensive. $18.26 was my share for 3 different rides that we caught. 1 car repair was $660.63. That was for the RAV4. It needed all new brakes, brake pads, and rotors. So is that all that they did? I think that's all that they did. One of us, maybe me, bought something from the vending machine at school, $135. We're surrounded by vending machines at our schools, obviously, but we rarely buy from them, but I'm noticing that's something that stuck out. My husband's cell phone bill was $130.22 as well. We put a $200 deposit on another cruise. That was $100 per person. We got another car repair for our Prius. That was $327.12. That was for all new tires and then the labor that goes into that. We did another like random act of kindness by going to one of my book club members' like stations at this market thing that we have here every Saturday. And she said she was going to be there, and we weren't originally going there, but I wanted to support, so we went there and bought some food from her. My husband went to Universal Studios with the seniors on a senior trip, and his getting in was free and the bus ride there was free and like all of that, but they stopped at Buc-ee's, which is random for us because we don't have a Buc-ee's near us. And he paid $4.25 for a biscuit. We also had a fee to pay for $300. That's it. That's everything that kind of stood out. So in total, we spent $6,322.57, which is far less than what we brought in. Also, if you hear birds, my bad. Birds build nests in, on, around, within our house every year. I don't know what it is. We actually knocked it down one time, which was very saddening, but they were gone. You know, they weren't here. You know, they migrate or what have you. So they weren't here and they hadn't been for a minute. It was during the winter, I believe. So we knocked it down, but they always just keep coming back. So I was sad to knock it down, but they're so loud and so annoying that I don't know what else to do. But if they built it somewhere else around the house, it would be fine. But they build it right here, right where I'm trying to film and trying to work and trying to do other things. So my bad if you hear birds chirping. That's our budget for April. Let's reflect on the month of April now, which I wrote down a lot of stuff on here. It's actually wild. So I don't know, buckle up your seatbelt or something, because April was a doozy. I swung around the camera for a new angle. Okay, in my digital planner, I like to track on my monthly reflection page my highs, lows, favorites, and lessons. I have a lot of stuff written down. I also track my habits, but we might hit on those, but I try to leave off that part because it's always pretty much the same from month to month, but we might hit on that. But for highs, we went to counseling together, and it was amazing. I write these in order, so we must have gone to counseling like the first day or the first couple of days or something. So I put counseling because it was phenomenal. As always, to be honest, we've only probably gone 5 times, maybe 4 in total, but they're always a fun time. Even when we did premarital counseling, that was a fun time as well. So I don't know. I don't see counseling as like something that I don't enjoy, I guess. I put on here cleaning / decluttering as a high. And when I talk about high moments, I'm talking about moments where I feel like life is worth living. So I think during my 2 weeks off of work for my spring break, that I was doing a lot of cleaning and decluttering, and that was very fulfilling for me. My husband was off of work too for 1 week in April. So I had basically an extra week than him. I had like the first week and then the second week, and then he joined me the second week, FYI. Also, well, I put spring break with my husband as a high. Oh, our book club meeting, that was so fun. I hosted here at the house for the first time. By hosted, I mean I just prepped the house. I didn't actually buy anything or bring anything. I did chip in. I chipped in when my friend was bringing the drinks or something. I did split that. So I did do that, but otherwise, I didn't really do anything for real. I mean, I did decorate a little bit, stuff like that. My husband and I went to a minor league baseball game. I have dreams of going to a major league baseball game. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. It just seems like something I want to do. I just want to go see what the vibes are. So we started out by going to a free, because we bought the tickets with credit card points, minor league baseball game, our minor league baseball team in our city, actually. And that was kind of fun. Wasn't really anybody there, but it's okay because whatever, we were there. I met my friend and her sister in a nearby city for one night for a concert, which is also one of my highs, the Millennium Tour. I have been waiting my whole life to see Bow Wow, who was my childhood boo, and Plies. I've been waiting my whole life to see them in concert, and I finally did. So one high is after 14 years of going to concerts, because once I got my first job around 20 and my first car, I got the job so I could pay for the insurance and the gas and stuff for the car. Once I got that, I was hitting the road, hitting the streets, going to concerts. And so that means that for the last like 14 years, I have been concert going, and I finally finished my concert bucket list. I go to a lot of concerts. One caveat is that I would love to see one of my favorite rappers in concert, who is Eminem, but I don't think I'll ever see Eminem. Like, unless he pops out of retirement, if you will, I think he and Rihanna did like a monster tour, and because I didn't make it, I don't think I'll see Eminem again. But if ever you hear anything about Eminem doing a concert, email me, comment on this video, slide into my DMs on Instagram or wherever, and holla at your girl, because I would love to go. But I decided years ago that it wasn't looking too promising, so I kind of put that out of my head. Crossing off the concert bucket list was absolutely a high. After my 2-week spring break, I had like a post-break productivity kick, and it's still going. It lasted all of April, for the duration of April. So basically it was like I wasn't as productive as I would have hoped. during my 2-week spring break. But afterwards, I was like catching up on everything I put off or I wished I'd done. And so I've been in productivity mode on steroids for the last several weeks, and that has been fulfilling to me. Also, my friend brought me an adult Easter egg. Nope, an adult Easter basket. A friend has never given me one. So when she brought me a reading basket, I was over the moon. But it was the cutest thing. So I loved that for me. One of the best parts about April is that I got a new Coach bag. Y'all, I took one of my older friends who's actually like a family friend. It's my husband's mom's friend of like 30 years. She used to help babysit my husband because they were single parents and they had kids around the same age. I think her daughter is maybe a year younger than me, maybe. So maybe the same age as me. I don't really remember. She doesn't live in this city, but I took her somewhere. I'm not here to share her business. By the way, we became closer friends, like friends, because 10 years ago when I moved here, I took a job where I learned that she worked. I had met her before, but when I was going to the job interview, I had met her a couple times before, of course, but when I had gone to this job interview, I didn't know who was going to be over there. And, you know, it was one of my first job interviews here in this city. And so I got the job the same year that I moved here, a couple months after. And the first day I was doing like a little tour interview situation, and I saw her there and I was like, what are you doing here? And we worked together up until I left that job. So we do have like our own personal relationship. We're probably closer, even though she kind of helped raise my husband. We're definitely closer than the two of them. Long story short, I took her somewhere on a whim. It was Good Friday, my day off, and I stayed with her. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for you bringing me here and, you know, just picking up and coming and, you know, just being by my side. And I was like, girl, you know, no problem. I'd do it all over again if needed. I don't think I'd ever done anything, given a favor of that caliber to her. So she was like, you know, I want to do something to thank you. And I was like, no need. This is not quid pro quo. Is that what they call it? Like, we don't have to do that. And she was like, no, I want to do something nice because, you know, this was your day off. It was last minute. And I was like, okay, well, just take me to lunch and we'll call it good. And she was like, no, I want to do something nicer than that. And I'm like, whatever, like, I'm not gonna argue with this lady. So she started asking me questions about Coach. And then one thing led to another. And I realized the reason why she was asking me is because that's what she wanted to do for me. So make a long story short, and I'm not telling the full story only because I don't like telling other people's business for real. That's the Cliff Notes version. But long story short, I got a Coach bag out of the deal. And she ordered me a bag, and earlier this week, or whenever it was, not too long ago, she was like, your purse is here, come pick it up, type of thing. And so I was like, what? And so I went to pick up my purse. A purse is crazy to me, just for such a task. I mean, I get it. It was like last minute. It was hours long, but that's crazy to me. I think that's like a generational thing, because if I did a favor for any of my friends in my age group, they're just gonna be like, thanks. They might take me to lunch. They might do something relatively kind, but they're not gonna spend a bunch of money to get me a purse. I mean, I wouldn't even do that. If somebody did what she did for me, or what I did for her, for me, I would thank them in some kind of capacity, but it wouldn't be a purse. So I got a new Coach purse out the deal. I'm over the moon. That was probably one of the best moments from April, for real. Also, you guys, I have a new paper planner. Should I be showing you? Should we be talking about this? I have a new paper planner. You know, I'm not even gonna open it because I don't have all my, like I would show you, but literally I have the cover and a couple things, and it's not actually a usable planner because my inserts that I'm using to actually write on have not been delivered. So I'm waiting for that. They're supposed to be delivered in a couple days, and then I will share the planner. I'm not a gatekeeper, but it's kind of purposeless to share it when it's hardly a planner. It's just decoration for right now. Anyway, I bought a new paper planner, and paper planners bring me joy, so there's that. I put on here my marriage because it was for the month of April. I don't even know if we argued in April. Like, sometimes we bicker back and forth and stuff. I don't even think we had one bickering back and forth in April. We might have had one, but that would be it for real. So we're doing, marriage is going well. We'll be at 9 years soon, and maybe 12 years together. 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 and a half, something like that, 13. I don't know, something like that. The marriage is going great. The relationship's going great. Love that for me. Also, I marked off a bucket list item. I have a bucket list in Notion, and I was looking at the bucket list to see if there was anything that we did or that I did that I could mark off. And while the concert seeing Bow Wow and Plies wasn't on my bucket list, what was on my bucket list was going to a drive-in movie theater. So we went to the drive-in movie theater twice in April. And I don't think I'll ever go back to a regular theater because for $10 per person flat, we can see 2 double movies. So there's 3 screens, and you just have to pick the one that you want to go to. You can't go like bounce around. It would be too chaotic, and there's movies going on at the same time, and you know, your lights are supposed to be off and they're far apart sort of. So I think that's why you can't move around. But yeah, we saw Sinners and Woman in the Yard, which and then something else we saw as well, some other new movie. But the big screen drive-in movie theater is where it's at. So those are actually all of my highs. Let's talk about lows. I had a stomach ache. Ooh, I think that was the day after the concert. I came home the day after. I got home pretty early the day after. Maybe that was when I had it. I also have on here witnessing a car accident. I'm gonna be honest. I remember this happening. I just don't remember any details of it or where it was. I put on here Fresh Take, which is a new grocery store in our area. We went there 100% underwhelmed. Going there was a low for sure. I put on here Family Drama. Oh, I remember. Remember, I can't tell other people's business because that's cringy to me. But there was some family drama, and I'll have you know, it wasn't even in this city. It was states and states away, but it was like dramatic. It was happening late at night, and I was called into it for support. Emotional support, fine. Financial support, even fine. I don't have any issues with helping people. I have issues in like what other people have done to the person that I'm helping. Like that's where I get kind of tangled up in that. I don't know if you remember, but I once talked about having, oh my God, what is it called? It's a term. It's like toxic empathy or something. Yeah. I think that's what I discovered some years ago, what the meaning of that was. I discovered that term and what it meant. And so I have that, or I struggle with that at times. And yeah, that's why that issue was an issue for me. I also have on here the AC issue, which wasn't really an issue because we got it resolved, and it's still spring here, thankfully. So it was fine. And then my dog has been struggling. I don't know what is happening with my puppy girl, but I think that she had a stomach ache as well in April. She just went for her annual comprehensive exam in March, not long ago. Everything was fine. She does have allergies, as do a lot of pits, but I don't know. But she had some stomach issues, and that's been kind of sad. Let's talk about favorites, and this is going to take a while. I need to scoot up. One of our book friends brought some banana pudding to the book club. She chose not to put bananas in there because some people don't like bananas, and she had asked us, and that was like the consensus. And when I tell you that banana pudding, you know, I don't do sweets too much, but that banana pudding was easily the best banana pudding that I've ever had. I also put on here the club. My husband and I went to the club a good bit in April because we kind of always go to the club a good bit, but probably more than typical in April. And so that was a favorite of mine. I love the club. I also put on here The Beast. The Beast. What's The Beast? Do you know? Is that a movie? The Beast. Is that a movie? What the heck is The Beast? I don't know. Maybe you know. Maybe I'll remember when I'm editing this video. But The Beast was a favorite. Is that a movie? What the heck is The Beast? Oh, it was a book. Okay, it was our book club pick for April. Yes, for March? For March. And then we met and discussed it at the beginning of April. And it's coming back to me now. The author of the book, Sky Moon, joined us on the big screen, aka my TV screen, via AirPlay, and we got to talk with her about the book and all that. The book was great. So that's what The Beast is. I also have on here Jamal Roberts' Her Heart, which is a cover by Anthony Hamilton. He sang that during American Idol, and I was impressed by that. I love his cover of that. I also have on here mojitos. Y'all know all I gotta do is go one place, have one mojito, and I'm gonna be swooning over some mojitos. How many mojitos did I have in April? Probably 2, but I love mojitos. Mojitos, mimosas, and margaritas, actually. Hookah. We have our own hookah now, but we had gone to smoke hookah, I think at a club or a lounge, and that was a vibe. Their hookah's better than ours. I think we have a little baby hookah as a starter, but I think we may upgrade to a bigger hookah, to that specific one, because it's so smooth and fire. I put on here the women in 30s trend. I don't know if you know about it, but they're doing like showing themselves with the song Beyonce's If You Got It, Flaunt It. Boy, check up on it. That's the song, but it's like a slowed down, sultry, sexier version. And so I've just been eating that up, like seeing all the women in their 30s, and it just yields just positivity about being in your 30s. And they've been talking about how it's the best and you're more free and more this and more that in your 30s, and I could not agree more. So I've been eating it up. Speaking of eating, I have on here chicken strips / nuggets. I guess I was on chicken strips and nuggets in April. I think because we went to the drive-in theater and they had some chicken nuggets that were amazing. I put on here the drive-in movie theater. I put Boosie's performance at the Millennium Tour because I would venture to say his was the best. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd say so. I put on here not thinking about money excessively. And while I did think about money in April was like because we brought in so much income, and we brought in a decent amount of income on the personal side, also a fairly decent amount on the business side. I just feel like because of that, money was no object in April, and that was refreshing because money be an object. Money is an object other times, for sure. Salted caramel gelato. There's a guy who has a gelato store, and I try to go there when I can to support. I try to buy gift certificates from him to give to people and just get some people coming through there because I love it. And so that salted caramel gelato, 8. No pun intended. I put planning in a notebook because for spring break, I was planning in a regular notebook. That was fulfilling, which is what landed me back into the world of paper planning, to be honest. I put on here Easter dinner, which was at my husband's aunt's house. That was great. I put on here personal rings. That's the kind of planner I have purchased. Completing projects, club budgets. That is when my husband, who is a DJ, turns our home into a club. And recently he has been tuning into TikTok DJs. If you go on TikTok, you can find DJs who are live, and they might be at home mixing, or they might be at the club. And so instead of him having to DJ for us, then we just listen to the TikTok DJs, and we have fog machine if we want to be doing too much. But we have strobe lights and speakers and all that. Chicken wings from this restaurant that we literally never go to, but everybody probably in this whole city knows that their chicken wings are phenomenal. So we went there once. Sinners, great movie, loved it. ChatGPT, I have been in my ChatGPT era because I was like, I'm gonna give ChatGPT, I'm gonna put in some photos of my backyard, and I want ChatGPT, I want to see if they will give me some inspiration for our backyard. I have plans of turning our backyard into an oasis. And then I have press-on nails as a favorite because I am supposed to be giving my natural nails a break so that they might grow. But I caved and I purchased some press-on nails. I purchased the press-on nails because they came with glue. I was just going to the store to get glue. I was like, I'm gonna put some press-on nails on. I have nails here at home. I need glue. I went to Dollar Tree, no glue. Kroger, no glue, standalone glue. But I saw that in this nail set at Kroger, they had glue. So I'm like, it's either waste more gas going to another place or just buy this $10 kit and have nails for 2 sets because they came with 20 nails. So if you play your cards right and you file your nails down if they're a little bit too big, because you can customize them of sorts, then you can get 2 sets, unless your nails are just like, your nail beds are super, super small or super, super big and they just, you know what I'm saying? But otherwise, if they're like a normal size, you can push it and get 2 sets, which is what I've done. I've been wearing these for going on 2 weeks. But anyway, I bought the kit for the glue and I have my own nails here at the house. So if I put on another set, then I'll just use my nails here at the house. That is the goal. And then also, last one, my husband was out of town to Universal Studios in Florida. And so I decided when I left my friend's house at like 9 p.m., I wanted to go do something I'd never done before. So I went to a martini bar / lounge to have a lemon drop. And I had been there before with a group of people, but I'd been wanting to go back. In fact, my husband and I tried to go in April and it was closed for some reason. So it had been on my mind for a while to go back because that lemon drop was amazing when I had it originally. So I finally just went back. So I'm saying I did go to a place where I'd gone before, but I have never gone anywhere at night, especially to have a drink by myself. I don't even really be out at night, just in general. Anyway, I went there. I lasted about 10 minutes and then someone came up to me, asked if I was there alone. I said yes. She then was like, oh, do you want to hang out with me and my friends? I said no. And then I explained to her why. I didn't owe her an explanation, of course, but whatever. I was just like, no. And I'm just going to tell you why. The reason for this is because I am actually trying to challenge myself to kind of live in my uncomfortability, being at a bar, even though it's like this big. It's like a little baby bar. It's like a little baby lounge. There's an indoor area and an outdoor area. I was outside, of course. I was like, I'm trying to challenge myself to do something uncomfortable. And she was like, I said, so I'm here alone and this is the task at hand. And she was like, you've never been to a bar alone? And I was like, no, have you? And she was like, yeah, I come all the time by myself. One thing led to another. We got to yapping, which is what I was trying to avoid doing because I am a yapper. So I was trying to be uncomfortable with my silence or what have you. And yeah, one thing led to another, and we learned that not only do we work for the same school district, which is large, but we actually work in the same department. We just work in different zones. She works at a school that I don't go to, obviously, but it's probably like a good 30 minutes from my schools. So I met a friend, a coworker, a colleague, and we yapped, and then after we finished, I left. So I did do it, but it wasn't as successful as I had hoped. I'm not that pressed, I guess, to be at a bar. I don't know. I'm not that pressed to be at a bar that I would go alone. That's kind of how I feel. So doing something like that was a challenge. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about my lessons, but let's try to make this fast because I'm sure This video is gonna be an hour long. Oh Lord. Okay, iPhone batteries. I got the battery on my phone replaced in April. My phone battery was operating at like 50%. It would charge to 100%, but the battery was actually only operating at 50%. That meant that my phone would die in half the time that it would typically die, like if it were new. So I looked into it, and Apple can replace your battery for like 89 or so, but I found this other company to replace it for like 60 or so. And I learned that they go in through the front, through the screen, to replace the battery. I don't know why. I just assumed that they would go in through the back, but that's not true. So in chatting with them, I learned, again, I'm like a yapper. I'm inquisitive. I'm curious. I'm asking questions. I just am that person. And so I just learned a lot about iPhone batteries in that time. So yeah, if your battery is on the fritz, check your battery life inside of your settings. And then if it's trash, which it eventually will be, my phone is probably 3-4 years old, and I feel like I use it a good bit. So I don't know, that might contribute to it having been trash. But yeah, if your battery's trash, just go get it replaced, and it's gonna be relatively inexpensive compared to buying a new phone. I also put on here stronger communications after a scheduled break. That is kind of something we talked about in counseling, which is that I know, so if my husband and I have some kind of beef or argument, a spat, neither of us are going to go up to the other person and try to get them to talk. First of all, it's weird for us because it's kind of like, let's say I say something and I offend my husband accidentally, or maybe on purpose. Either way, it would be like insane of me almost to expect him or any other person in this world to then turn around and like want to talk to me or forgive me immediately. You know, like you can't control how people process their feelings or their emotions, is what I'm trying to say. So never in the history of evers have we been like the kind to like run behind each other trying to get the other one to talk or whatever. We never do that. Never. Because it's foreign to us. And so what we have learned over the course of our relationship is that even though they say like, don't go to bed angry and this and that and the third, actually, when we can take some time to collect ourselves and come back, we're much better for it. I'm not trying to be offensive at that point. I'm not in whatever emotional state perhaps that I might have been in at that point, or whatever the case is. So we're just stronger after a scheduled break, not like a silent treatment. That's weird. We don't do that type of thing. But like, you know what? I need a minute type of thing. I don't know that I've ever said that in that using those words, but that's the gist of it, or vice versa. And come back together much stronger communicators. Line dancing. I started taking another line dancing class in April. My husband too. I would go more than him because he has track practice, basketball practice, all that. And so I learned a lot of line dancing, to include boots on the ground, stop playing with me. Also, I put on here a lesson is generosity. I don't know what that means. I need to start expounding, is that the word, on these lessons, because what even is that? I put 30s greater than. I know what that means. That means that it has come to my attention that when I think about it, my 30s are fire compared to the decades prior. I put on here people just talk, because I continue to learn that so many people just yap with no action. You know, people who talk the talk but they don't walk the walk. It's actually astonishing to me at times how many people talk about doing something and they never do it. And I'm talking about the people who are like, Shay, we should go to lunch. And I'm like, okay, when are you free? Let's schedule it. And then they're like, they don't respond, or it's like this whole big thing. A lot of people just talk. Me, I'm action focused. So if you bring up to me you want to go to Africa, I'm gonna plan the trip to Africa in an hour tops, like max. That's how I operate. I don't know who is the dysfunctional person, me who's like jumping on it, or the person who just brings it up and never does anything with it. I feel like both of them can be problematic, but I'm just saying I'm the one who walks the walk. Also put on here that remaining calm is key. Always. If you can remain calm, I'm an underreactor. I do not overreact ever. I'm like this 100% of the time. You'll likely never catch me not in this state. I'm pretty much always in this state, this regulated state. And I feel like it's the key to life. I also have on here a regulated nervous system. Same thing. When you, like, my only goal in life is to have a regulated nervous system. In fact, if I ever had kids, my goal in life would be to ensure that they have a regulated nervous system. That's how important it is to me. And then also, I have been doing an activity with my students at work about safe spaces. It's this little activity that I got from this therapy aid website. And as I was doing the activity with them, or preparing to do it specifically, I was thinking like, wait, who are my safe people, like, specifically, and why? And, you know, why are they? And I was just kind of doing it myself. Oftentimes when I'm doing activities with my students, I tend to do the activities for myself, I guess. And it's always enlightening, even for me at my big age. So those are my lessons. Let's talk about my April goals. Since we're going to be talking about books a little bit, I thought I would swing us around to my little bookshelf, which only shows 2 shelves, I think, but like all my books are up at the top. Anyway, neither here nor there. In April, I wanted to take one personal day, and I put April 11th. I may have taken more, like as an example, when my husband was gone, I had a personal day. And a personal day to me is just time where I'm just doing what my heart desires. It could be anything. I wanted to read 4 books. I read Something in My Heart for my book club. I read The Beast for my other book club. I read The Strawberry Patch Pancake House. Also read The Secrets of My Life. I read Part of Your World, and I read Say You'll Remember Me. My favorite book from all of those, y'all know I'm an Abby Jimenez girly through and through. Probably Part of Your World, and then maybe The Beast. Yeah. I didn't really care for any of the rest of them. So there's that on that. I didn't even love Say You'll Remember Me either, but you know, such is life. So I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books in April. For self-care, the only thing I did 2 things. I grew my nails, technically, because, you know, like I'm growing them underneath here. That's the purpose of this. I bought some perfume. So I have been buying a new perfume when my perfume runs out, and which is about every month. So I bought a new combo in May. I purchased a perfume called Lemon Water. It was at TJ Maxx. And then I also purchased a corresponding body spray, which is called Lost in Miami. Obviously I bought it because Miami's my favorite place in the world. And that's my scent combo for the month of May. So I did those 2 things. I did not do the rest of them. For house projects, we got our car repairs taken care of, and we booked the wedding cruise, and we're in the process of doing all of the other things. We invested 15% of our paychecks. We saved $2,000. For relationships, I did everything. I scheduled friend dates for April. I caught up with a friend. I hosted family/friends, celebrated, helped one person, well, more, but at least one, went to counseling. And then I put on here, hit the streets for spring break, which we did. For career, I did get approval to take my clinical exam, but I did not purchase this exam prep, nor did I start studying. But that's supposed to be for May. It should be for May. I get out of school in May, like in theory, off work for the summer. In theory, I shouldn't have anything like that should be taking up my time, in theory. So I plan to start studying this month. I did secure sponsorship, which you would have seen. I did publish. Actually, I published. So I have a goal to publish 8 YouTube videos. I missed 1 upload, so I'm at 7. But this was supposed to go up yesterday, I think, which would have made 8, I believe. I'm just marking this off as achieved, all of that to say. Scheduled my workouts. I don't know that I lost 4 pounds. I would venture, should we see? I got a call while I was checking, but I'm going into my app because I have this fancy scale. What is it called? It's just like a fancy scale, and it takes all kind of, it like calculates your body fat and all kind of stuff. So let's see, on April the 1st, assuming I weighed myself then, oh wait, oh my God, wait, okay, but hear me out. I've technically lost over 7 pounds, but when I had weighed myself on April 1st, I had like gained some weight. So like basically, yes, I did lose 7 pounds over 7 pounds in April, almost 8, but it's because I had gained some weight. Yeah, I'm not here happily the lowest weight that I've ever been by any means or whatever, because I had gained some weight, but I did lose nearly 8 pounds in April, so we can check off that. And then I did great with low carb, low calorie, low sugar and all that. I loved April for me, actually, now that I see that I have completed that goal. So let's talk about May goals. All right, one, I want to take a personal day. I'm aiming for May 31st. Not really sure why, but whatevs. I want to read 4 books. I am just starting One Summer in Savannah. Seems, I don't know, like for real what it's about, but I think it takes place in Savannah, Georgia. I don't live far from there. It seems fitting. I'm going to try to read that. I am still trying to get through Brene Brown's catalog. So I'm going to start and hopefully finish Daring Greatly. Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan, who I love, releases in May. So I'll be reading that for sure, because that's the 3rd book in the series. Might as well wrap it up. For my book club, one of them we're reading Still Waters. Not sure what we're reading for the other 2 books, or for my other book club. We normally read 2 books. We read 2 books for both clubs. So I don't know what's going on with that. And then I'm thinking about reading Matriarch by Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles. Let me call her Tina Knowles, because I would hate to be introduced as Beyonce's mom or anybody, like, just call me who I am, you know? So, my bad, Miss Tina. For self-care, I want to do all the same things. For home projects, almost all the same things, except I'm thinking we're gonna extend our patio, and then we do need to pay my husband's college tuition, and then we do need to pay our car insurance. We pay our car insurance every 6 months, and it will be due in May, so we will need to pay that. We want to invest 15% of our paychecks, and due to possibly extending the patio, we won't really be saving much. I do have save whatever as a goal. $1, $2, who knows? We might save, it's not looking too. Car insurance is $1,271 for the next 6 months. My husband's tuition is dependent upon how many classes he takes for the summer. So if it's like 3 classes, that's like $3,000. This patio extension is $4,000 just for the patio extension. So you add all of that up, we're not saving anything unless we get a lot of money somehow, somewhere. I do get a bonus in May, so I love that. For relationships, quite literally all the same things. Plus I have on here to celebrate our half anniversary. Somehow we are going on our one and only fancy date night in May on what is our half anniversary. We have never celebrated our half anniversary, but we're gonna celebrate this time. So that's coming up in a couple days. Love that for us. And then also attend this, what do you call it? It's like a fundraising. It's like a fundraising event. We do it every year. I think my niece is coming for the summer. And to go get her puts me back so much money, but it's the only way for her to get here, like via car. And she could go ride on a plane, a bus, a train, or something like that. None of those like really resonate, but she alleges that riding a bus would be up her alley. So at her age, I would ride a bus by myself. So and I didn't even have a phone then, I don't think. So it's not a far-fetched idea. So she might be getting here via bus, and she might be getting on the bus, basically. Career, I want to start studying, purchase the exam prep, potentially. I'm told it's great for prepping for the clinical exam, but it costs more than taking the clinical exam. So I'm like, but if it's going to guarantee that I'll pass, then sign me up. But it's $295. And then also to complete my end of year checklist at work, which is the only major thing I have to do in May, which kind of shuts me down and checks me out for the school year. Business, secure 1 sponsorship, publish 8 YouTube videos. Health, same thing. 4 pounds is probably crazy, but I'm gonna keep it on here. It's a pound a week. Let's shoot for that. And that is my May reset. I've talked so much. I feel like I left something out, but there's no way that I left anything out because I've been yapping for 6,200 years. So we're gonna end this video now. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye guys.